I'm Amanda Lehman-Choi, Director of Brand and Community at Oakwyn Realty. I'm here with three incredible women of Oakwyn, Jessica Chen, Mary Porohowski, and Morgan Browne. So first of all, I just want to congratulate you ladies for your incredible careers and for being leaders of our industry. So cheers to that.
Cheers. Thank you, Amanda.
Woo!
Cheers. Okay.
Taking a big sip of that.
So let's get right into it. In the last couple of years, there's been a lot in the media about feminism, the Me Too movement, and Time's Up in Hollywood. Have you guys noticed a change in how women in business are perceived in the last couple of years because of that?
I actually think there's more respect for women now. And before, I think real estate was kind of known as a man's world. I'm a little bit older than everybody at the table, but I think now it's really become a woman's world.
I do. I agree with you. And I also see, Mary, too, that there's places like Oakwyn and there's environments that are allowing us to flourish and succeed. So when you have that kind of support, you're seeing more of it too.
I totally agree. I think there's way more women in leadership, which is a huge, it has made a big impact in our industry, but also like even just with Medallion and people that are trying to achieve, big goals, there's way more females that are in those categories for sure.
Okay, so one thing that's really important for female empowerment is support of men. Can you each speak to how men have been important to you in your career and journey? Start with you.
As we were talking about this morning, like I can't do what I do without my husband. And now it's being recorded. But my husband has been a huge support in my career, allowing me to be a mother, allowing me to be building my own business, and just the flexibility. I mean, there are times that I'm not home. I do the drop off in the morning. He picks up from school, hockey, soccer, dinner, homework, bed, bath time, and I don't get home until 9, 10 o'clock. And so, I'm not just saying that's I'm not just saying a male, but a partner, and a person, right? And that goes with your team too, right? The people around you to allow you to do what you do best. So, yeah, I would say my husband is a big part of that.
Wow. Well, I have to say it's really nice to hear, because I know, Morgan, you talk about your husband, how he's doing everything right now with your new baby. Yeah, and we actually had a bit of conversation before we actually sat at the table, and it is lovely to hear how all these men are stepping up to be great fathers, great partners, and allowing, because before it was always known as the woman had to be home, and now that really has changed. But to have partners who really do that for you is really great. I have to say that my business partner, Ken, has been amazing in my life. We've been now working over, I'd say, 15, 16 years. I can't even remember. I joined Ken because I was doing just projects. Then I wanted to get into resale. Wow, I didn't know what resale was all about, because projects and resale is so different. And it does take a while to find where each other can work. And Ken is like the human calculator, and he can think of things really fast. And he'll remember a house on a road from 7 years ago and how many bedrooms it had. I certainly don't have that. But what I learned is that it's okay, that what I bring to the table is different than what Ken brings. But it did take years for me to accept that and know that. And so he is really great. Ken has always had my back. One of the things I also love about Ken, when there's markets like this where it's really tough, he still has a sense of humor about things. He still also has this great ability to be positive. Like, people always think I'm the positive one. I'm actually a bit more negative than Ken. I'm maybe more,
I'm learning this now.
I know. People always think that, but I have a bit of this negative thing. Oh, the market's going down. And but Ken's got that chug positiveness. So I think that's some of the things that people don't know about Ken, that he's got this ability to be super positive. He can, analyze things. And I remember, I think the first deal I did in resale, I didn't know how to do CMA. I didn't do CMA on it. Yeah. And so I just wrote it up. I was so happy. And it was Thanksgiving. And Ken said, "What did you do? What price did you pay?" And it was Thanksgiving. And Ken, and it was one of the guys from actually over at Concord area. And so he's on the phone, he's talking to them, like he literally had my back. And I'll never forget that. That was my very first deal, but it all worked out and he made it work out. But it's nice to have somebody who has all those qualities. And it's been a lot of years. I'm not going to say it's always been perfect, but what I encourage other women who do have partnerships with other people, and you, like you said, it's your team, you know. It's not only Ken, but it's also the ladies behind us as well. So we're really lucky.
It's our people.
It's our people.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think men have played a critical role in women's success, because I think it actually started for me, like my father has always been a huge support for me, not financially, but I think with confidence. I think from the ground up, like when I was very young, he said, you know, no one will do this except you, and you just need you. And I think from his point of view is he wanted to kind of create this strong female, bring a presence that, and never kind of, you know, dim my light, I guess. And I think that is a huge thing, is my father has always been super supportive. And then of course, what Jessica was saying, my husband, he's my biggest support. I'm gonna cry thinking about it, but he has given me, you know, really my wings to fly, really. He's never doubted me. He's never held me back. He's pushed me, and he's lifted me up big time. But also my business partner, Michael, he's given me a confidence. I was just sharing, you know, with Amanda this week that Michael was kind of wrote to me the other day, and he says, I never tell you this, but I'm really proud of you. And that just like, I was like, like that, like cry. And it's these men that have really said, do it, go for it, jump.
And acknowledge you.
And acknowledge me.
Yeah.
And I think that if without the men, I don't think I would be the woman I am today. Yeah, which is like, I'm gonna cry. But I was like, cheers, yeah.
Just like, oh my God.
I thought one thing that you said, Mary, was really interesting, in that, you know, at first it was almost hard for you to let go in your partnership with Ken, that you thought, because I kind of related to that a little bit too, where you almost want to be everything and do everything. Yeah. And sometimes it's okay in a partnership for someone else to, like you said, Morgan, to like take over some of the things that maybe you thought you should do.
Right.
But yeah, anyways, what does it take to be a successful woman in this industry?
Oh, that's a good question.
I think there's so many things.
Yes.
I really think at the end of the day, it's going to take, it's just keep going. You know what? And the markets are going to change like this. But I also think, you know, having the support of people around you is what helps you keep going. Like you said, like, you know, when Michael sent you that letter, you know, how proud he was of you, that kind of keeps you going to the next step, to the next step. And I always think it's when someone sometimes just says that nice thing that keeps you going, because this market can be really tough and people can really take a lot out of you, and you want to give, but I think as long as you just keep going.
I think not only that, Mary, is you gotta have a sense of humor.
Oh, yeah.
You gotta like, you know, like the sense of humor goes hand in hand with having a thick skin too, right? Because, you know, exactly. Like that's what really keeps me going, and I think that, you know, you just have to take things lightly. Like there are going to be days. There are days, and we are put into situations where times it gets. You need a couple of these, right? But you gotta be able to laugh about it. Like Mary, when you said Ken has a sense of humor and he just kind of keeps going, like I love that. I love that, and that's the kind of people you want to be around. And that's how you flourish, and that's how you succeed, because it's. You can't let a punch get you down, right? Yeah.
True enough. Yeah. And I think also too, when you know that you've screwed up, just quickly get it done, apologize, and just get on with it. You know what? I think that when you take responsibility sometimes and just get it out of the way, and I think that the other person who's receiving the apology, something happens there in that thing, that, you know, they realize that we're human too. Right. So I think that's a neat thing.
I think what it takes to be, you know, a strong female in this industry is grit. I think it takes some like hard work and being able to say, you know what, I know my value. I know my value. I know what I bring to this table, right? I'm not going to downplay myself. I know what I'm going to bring to it, but I'm also going to really include the people that I need help with. I'm not going to be everything. I need to be able to put my ego aside and say, I need that person next to me because I'm not strong in that. And that kind of goes hand in hand, I think. You have to be able to be okay to drop your ego, but be confident at the same time with what you do, for sure. Yeah.
What has been the most memorable criticism that you've received in your career?
Oh, geez, which one? No criticism.
Good job.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I talked about this in Michael's podcast, and I don't know if it's a criticism or not, but and I don't know if would it be the first. It's the first thing that popped up when you said that. But I remember in my old office, I think I was one of 2 females in the whole office. It was all male dominant. Oh. And my assistant told me that one of the realtors came in and said, "What's the shark doing? What is she up to?" Okay. And asking all these questions and poking around and looking at my desk and looking at my CMAs and so forth. And right away when she told me, I went, "Oh, he called me what?" And it was like, but you didn't know how to take it, right? Yeah. And you could take it like, he called me what? To when, okay, you know what? He's exactly, like, and he's curious on what I'm doing because I do what I do, right? Like there's no, and you don't have to be the ego. You don't have to have the ego. You don't have to have that. I don't have to go drinking with the boys and partying and I don't have to. And so I think, I didn't know if that was a criticism, but if it was, I took it as something positive. Yeah. So
that's great.
Yeah.
I think for me, and again, I don't know if it's a criticism as much as when I was doing project sales before I met Ken, I always had a really tough time deciding which project to go to because I'd be offered here and there, and you're kind of going, well, if I do that, then I can't do that. And one of my mentors, Janet McMeekin, who has done a lot of training with all the developers. She works with developers like Bosa and everything. Just did a training session with her again. But I remember years ago when I couldn't make a decision, she'd say, just make a decision. Just make it. Yeah. And you know what? It kind of hurt the way she said it. I thought, oh, okay. But you know what? I really took it to heart. And you know what? Just make a decision. If it's this way or that way, what you want to do, just make the decision and then go for it. And don't look back. I think we sometimes tend to think, is it there, is it here? Just make the decision.
Yeah, that's so true. I think, oh my God, I've had a lot of criticism. I think recently, actually, someone told me that I wasn't vulnerable and I had too much of a thick shell. And I was like, what? Me? I'm like open book. Like if you want, like I'm this. But I kind of took it in a sense that maybe I wasn't, not that I didn't have to let people in, but maybe I wasn't sharing enough. Like I share a part of me, but I realized I got to share my whole self, or else this isn't gonna pan out well, right? So I think that was, if that makes any sense. But I think one of my clients kind of said, you need to be more vulnerable. You need to, give a little bit more, show a little bit of your fear and show a little bit of, but when you're on, you don't want to show fear. You're confident and you're ready to go. Yeah. But maybe a little bit of that vulnerability is a good thing sometimes.
Yeah. It's very interesting that this question about criticism is all 3 of us have answered for a very positive response to it, right? It's not negative. It's positive. We took it and we went, let's spin it, and it's positive. So.
I was totally called the sharklet. Sharklet. So I was like more offended. Like, you're a sharklet, and I was like, I'm a female shark. Thank you. And I took it in a sense where I was like, damn straight I'm a shark. Let's do this, right? Like I'm like, if you want to call me a shark, if you want to call me a teddy bear, whatever you want to call me,
get this done.
Yeah, it's so good.
I think a lot of people, and you guys may not know this about yourselves, but a lot of people look at you guys as people who probably, everything's great, they're just on top. But what's something that you really wanted that you never got, like a listing or project or something that?
Wow, that's a stumper. I don't even know.
I think I don't dwell on it.
Yeah.
I don't dwell on it. I learn from it. If I didn't get a project or a listing or something, it's you learn from it and you almost compartmentalize it and just say, okay, I'll take it out as resources, as a reference when the next time. But I can't see any of us really just dwelling.
Yeah, I always find too, like sometimes what happens is that, you know, when we go up for different projects and so forth, and something just happened earlier in the year where we didn't get something, and I thought, I think I was a little disappointed, because sometimes you like to sometimes even say no when you rethink things, you know, and that's that ego. But you know what? It turned out for the better, because we got something else that probably fits us better. So I also think that sometimes what happens is that you might not get it, but there's a reason why you didn't get it. And even sometimes, don't you guys find that through the years, because we've been in it for a couple of years, that sometimes that client will come back in a different way, or all of a sudden they gave you a referral and you're going, what? But you didn't hire me. And so I necessarily think that there is a reason for that, and sometimes it is disappointing. You know, we do get disappointed. We're human, and you kind of go, why? What did that happen? Or was I not good enough? Or did I say the right things and so forth? But then afterwards, when you kind of, you know, it moves on, and you kind of go, yeah, there's a reason why. And I'm actually glad it didn't happen in a lot of ways.
I think on my team we have a thing where we really just, like, if it doesn't work out, we kind of have this thing where let the chips fall. Like, we need to be present, and if it wasn't meant to happen for us, we got to move on. Because you're right, there was a reason why it didn't happen. And we need to move forward, because we're not looking back, and we're not going to dwell in this, because a long time ago, someone said to me, I didn't get a listing or something like that, and he said, how many eggs did you throw at the wall until one cracked? And I was like, I don't know why this is such a weird thing to bring up, and I was like, it was Brian McLean, and he said to me, how many eggs did you throw at the wall? And you got to wait until, keep on throwing those eggs, and one will crack. And I've always kind of just gone by that. Or my mother saying to me, Morgan, you know what? You didn't get it. The next thing in your head should be next. Move on.
Good advice from your mom.
Yeah, it's really good.
Jessica, I remember you saying a while back that when you concentrated on yourself more, your career actually got better. I was wondering if you ladies have experienced something like that at all.
Personally, I find that when you help others to get to their dream, that you can achieve yours. So I find for us, and I know just even the way that, because you know, I'm in more of a business partnership, that when we help others, we kind of get to the place where we want to get to.
I kind of have a slogan in my mind where really what you appreciates. So it's just like what Jessica was saying, once you really are in it and you appreciate everything around you, things will appreciate. And I really believe that. I think if you focus on your family, if you focus on your business and spend time on the things that you really, really value, those things will really grow, right? And sometimes, I'm gonna spend more time on my business, and sometimes I'm gonna spend more time on my family. But that's because I think they need that, or I need that. And it will really kind of create this incredible abundance.
Well, I think also everybody here at the table are all positive, and people want to be around positive people.
Right.
And so I just think that is part of it. I know whenever I see Morgan or I see you, Jessica, I love to see you, because there's that, you get that response back. You get that hello. You don't get the fish, hello. Yeah. And you kind of go, wow, and there's something that you feel energized by that, or that hello, that you kind of go, oh yeah, you know what, it's nice just to see them.
Right. Yeah, for sure. So you guys are all leading teams in different ways. What do you think is the most challenging part about leading a team and working with other people?
Wow. For me, I'm first to admit that leading is in so many different ways, right? I feel like there's so many ways you can lead professionally, emotionally, growth. And so I feel like there's no master to it. Like I'm learning, because I'm learning to lead myself, let alone have to lead the ones around me, right? So I think the challenge for me is that to remember that what my personal growth, my personal goals are, may not be the ones for the ones around me, and I've got to recognize theirs and their pace.
Yeah.
So to lead at their pace, not to always lead at my pace, because I can walk a little faster. Yeah, exactly. And you know, you hear it in your head. So for me, I think it's just recognizing and respecting the people around me, and I support them at where they want to go. Not what I want for them or what I think is best for them. Let them. And just like how I'm trying to figure out mine every day of my life anyways, it evolves, it changes, right? So that would be mine.
Leading.
I think it's a, you know how we all
We're just like,
Yeah, that sounds right.
we're all like, yeah. Drink, cheers. I'm empty.
I actually fill them up because they look better.
Exactly. I'm like, everyone's like, Jessica is empty the whole time.
So good.
Thank you.
So good.
You know what? I think you're right, Jessica. It does change, and I think for me, sometimes I just have to be aware that we get so busy and that I get wrapped up in certain things that there's other people that are working with you to help you get there, and to listen, to give them their time, to encourage them, and because they are like your family. You know, I see them all the time, and I love our team. I love each one of them, what they bring in, and how hard they work to help us sometimes, and what they give up sometimes to make sure that, you know, we have either, you know, half a day off or whatever that is sometimes. And I really appreciate that about each person on our team when I think about everybody. And that I hope that I can inspire and help them get to where they want to go to, is kind of my thinking. But you're right, it's hard.
It's hard. I think it's really tough. I think leadership is one of those ones where you're like, am I doing it right? Is it going to make an impact? Is it going to make a change? But I think what I've learned in like leading is it's about being below them. Like it's about supporting them for what they want, right? It's at the end of the day, it's really about, you know, speaking the same. Like I always say, my team is best when we're all speaking the same language, if that makes any sense.
No, of course it does.
It's like we all have to be on the same page. If we're not on the same page, we're not doing anything right. Like that's just it. And there's been times where I'm like, you have to be tough. You have to say, listen, like these things aren't coming through. And I think we have this kind of brutal honesty on our team that you have to be as blunt as possible, or else nothing will get fixed or changed. We don't like to beat around the bush, and that's kind of a little bit of a hard, it's hard to do.
But I think in the long run, that's what gets them to be better at what they do.
Right.
You know,
I think so too.
It's kind of like make a decision. You know, it'll get me to be better at what I do at some point.
It's pure radical honesty. Like you have to be honest with each other. You know, I just recently went through something, and you know, we had to decide as the two of us what was the best fit for that individual, and it was tough because there was things that we couldn't control in that situation, and it was gut-wrenching because we love each other and we care about each other, but we had to put it all on the table and say this isn't going to work, or this is going to work in this way, and it was hard. It's not easy to lead. I think that's what it is, but it is enjoyable if you're present in it. I think it's hard.
Yeah, I think to lead is to do. If you don't do anything, you're not leading.
That's right.
So you just have to keep doing, even if it's right or wrong, you got to do something, right?
And don't bring your own shit around them. Like, you know, like don't bring it in. Don't bring it into like the whole mix. If you're having a bad day, if you're doing whatever, if you're a leader, you have to be on for those people. It's the energy, right? Like I've had some really bad days. Like, and I've come in and we did goal setting, and I was like not in the right mindset, but I'm like, I got to do this for the team. This is not about me. This is about the rest of them, right?
For sure. So Morgan, the first year that you made President's Club, you also had a baby.
It's my second year making breast.
Oh,
but I was making breast
it was
for
from the
sure.
year, yeah.
Yeah. I was pregnant, and it was fun. I think one thing that people don't realize is that, like, you know, it's not. It is. How can I say this without being so politically correct? You can take it as a crutch or a disability if you want to be. But the truth is that my life continued, and my life will continue to continue with a child, with family, with people, and it's up to me to decide that. I think that was a challenging thing. To be pregnant and also be running kind of a couple ships.
Blur, right?
Yeah, it was a blur. That's
really
right, Jessica. What happened?
Just a blur.
Yeah. All I know is that, But one thing I realized in that whole process is that time flies.
Yeah.
Time flies like that. And you have to be present. You have to enjoy everything, you know, like I'm just looking around right now, just in awe of how beautiful the setting is right now. Even though we're talking, I'm like, wow, like we're so lucky to be here. I get to be in this, you know, around this table. And I think that really goes a long way, whether you have a lot going on in your life, or you're pregnant, or you're running another business, or you are taking care of family, you know, whatever it is, or you want to make a choice to go traveling for half a year, you have to decide what your reality is. That's it.
I think it's well said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Choose it.
All right. So big lessons that you've learned in your careers.
Lessons.
You're always learning.
lesson.
Yeah, every day you're always learning. You never ever know it all. When you think you walk in and you're like, I know it, all of a sudden, and surrender to it and be okay to just say, I don't know it all. 18 years, 20 years, 15 years, 5 years, you don't know it all. And it changes.
God, look at all the paperwork we have to do now that we didn't have to do 5 years ago. Like I can't even do it without my assistant practically. Like seriously, thank you, Ashley. Just putting it out there. I think every day, you know, I'm trying to think of one big one, but I can't right off the moment.
And don't jump to conclusions. Don't judge a client or a situation or an outcome because you're surprised every time.
Yeah.
I think what you said earlier was kind of my thing, which is like, you know, take it easy and just enjoy it, but also like don't dwell on it and laugh about it a bit. You know, you know, one thing that I think my team always says to me, like, oh yeah, like just bring it to Morgan and she'll handle it. Well, it's because I'm usually the type of person like, there's 3 ways this is gonna go. That's it. There's a couple choices that this whole thing's gonna happen, and there's no bad choice. Like, we're just gonna go one of these 3 routes, and that's it. There's always, I guess what I'm trying to say, there's always a solution to that problem, and we can do it. You know, that was like my big lesson is don't freak out. Don't be like scared that something bad's gonna happen. Just know that there's a solution to it, and there's 3 ways it's gonna go, and be okay with that direction it's gonna go.
Or I used to say freak out and get it over with, and then get the solution, because sometimes you just need to freak out.
That's especially a WhatsApp chat.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you just, and then find the solution. Something happens in that, just letting it out.
That's like that whole thing comes down to control. I think we as females, in general, we want to sometimes control the situation a bit. Oh yeah. Right? Yeah.
No, we don't. We just like go fly. Absolutely.
But we have to surrender. We have to surrender.
Yeah.
We have to know that it's out of our control sometimes.
Yeah.
And I think that was a lesson I learned really early on, is you can't control it all. Like, just go with it and solve it or steer it or, you know, make it happen, I guess.
So we started off talking about supportive men. Have you guys felt, or is there a woman in your life that you felt really supported you or that you look up to?
Well, I think for me, there's been a combination of women, but ultimately it has been my mother. She's now 93, but she came from Poland when she was 16 to Germany during the war. How they came to Canada even speaking no English, building a family, and always just showing love, accepting everybody, celebrating every birthday, Christmases, you know, in very hard times, and just her spirit. And she's still with us, but she does have Alzheimer's now, so I really miss talking to her. But her strength, her wisdom, her just love and acceptance of people is something that will always be in me, that I hope that I can show to other people.
Oh. Yeah, it's amazing. I'm with you, Mary. My mother, her strength, and you know, it's funny. Her strength also comes in the fact that she allowed me to grow into be who I am. She didn't try to direct me. She didn't try to shape me, but she was without me knowing it.
Yeah.
You know,
that's a beautiful thing.
Right? You know, and I think her allowing me to spread my wings and fall and get back up it's a great thing. And I'm hoping that I could do that for my children, is to allow them to fall, allow them to cut themselves, bruise themselves, because that's when you just know it doesn't hurt so bad. You can get back up. So I think my mom.
When you fall too is when you learn.
Absolutely.
You're not going to learn when everything's all perfect and right. You learn when you fall.
True. Yes.
And then you also, I think, develop empathy and compassion for other people, maybe a little patience too in our business.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm on the same page as you guys. My mother, she has been like the rock that just won't move sometimes. But she, you know, I think one thing that she taught me was you can be a self-sufficient female. Like my parents, my dad worked full-time, my mom worked full-time. And I watched her get whatever she wanted to get. And I think just me learning from experience from her, yes, sometimes she might have been late picking me up from school, but she came to pick me up with a smile because something happened. And that really resonated with me, that, you know, you should be happy on a regular basis and love what you do, which is huge. She has a big thing with the three of us, there's 3 children, that you need to be your best authentic self. To the point that she used to give us like self-help, like self-days in high school, just if we just were worn out. Like she was like, I'm gonna nourish you, and I'm going to make sure that you're comfortable with you, right? And so she just never, and even with regards to today, if I'm feeling something, whether it's a speech that I'm doing for Oakwyn, or whether it's me doing something at work and something's happening on the real estate side of things, I'm always leaning on her a bit, and she just makes it feel like it's not that big of a deal. Like that's something that I think a lot of females, it's nice to have another strong female say, it's okay, you're gonna get through this.
Yeah.
Be fine.
Yeah.
And her faith has been the biggest change, like the biggest support and you know, gardening to me being the best self, I guess. Yeah. Gardening effect. That's like the big with mothers, like when they garden you and they don't like shape you, that's the difference. Like they just let you grow and they're just kind of cutting all your leaves off, letting you nourish, doing the pruning and saying, you know, you don't need that leaf, you don't need that leaf. That's the best type of parenting for sure, letting it grow.
At your speed.
It's right. Yeah.
And I like what Jessica said too about not protecting too much, because that's how you get strong, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
You develop your own, you know, from when you fall.
That's right.
Yeah.
So what do you ladies admire the most about the other two?
Oh, whoa, that's crazy. Let me drink that.
Okay, yeah. Do you know what? I was actually really excited when I heard it was Morgan and Jessica, because these are 2 women that I've always liked. I think one of the first times I met you, some showing years ago, I just loved your vivacious energy. I think when we joined Oakwyn, one of the reasons was because of you, Morgan. I like your honesty. I think you're just a very fair person, a very kind person. And I think that resonates to everybody. I think that you always kind of want to do what's best for everybody. And not just, you know, like you don't think of yourself. Like so many companies, they just think of themselves. But I do think that you have a broader vision. And I just admire you as a woman and as a person. Jessica, you are exuberant. You are so great. Like, again, like anytime I see you, I go, oh, I love that girl. Like, you know, there's some people you go, and honestly, there's some people in this industry, as far as women go, and some men too, that I will try to scoot out and not to have to go around them, because their energy is not that great. You have this amazing energy and positivity, and I think think, again, just hearing from what you're talking about, how your mother, let you kind of grow, is you have that positivity no matter what, and you have just a nice way around people, every kind of person, and I don't think you judge anybody. Like, you're just there. You're just a great lady. And we just had a few minutes before to talk about each other's kids, and just hearing, about something that happened with her son this morning and how she dealt with it so beautifully. And what a great mom you are. And you know what? You just, it's beautiful. You're good.
Okay, I'm gonna go next on this because I'm gonna be like, I've admired you, Mary, for years. Oh my God. Mary is someone who, when I meet someone new and they said, oh, I want to sell my my condo, I bought it at a pre-sale at this project, and she goes, those people will remember you just like I do, no matter what. Why? You're always consistent. You are so consistent, and not only as yourself as a person, but as what you deliver to your clients and people around you. Like, I remember the first time I met you, and you're present and it's honest. Like, pre-sales, you walk into a pre-sale and you don't know what you're talking. Most people, they're selling off what was regurgitated to them. Yeah. And I remember you asking my clients, what's important to you? What is it you're looking for? Why are you in this presentation center? That resonated with me. Yeah. I've always remembered that. So you've been so authentic ever since I've ever connected with you. So I truly admire you. Yeah, so true. Morgan. Morgan, I think I have reason why I came to Oakwyn. So I was at many years somewhere else.
Yeah. Let's leave their name out.
Yeah, we will leave that name out. Well, no, I mean, everywhere I went, everything I did was growth, right? But what I liked about you was you and your partners, it wasn't the Kool-Aid I drank. You walked it, you talked it, and you guys did what you said you're going to do. When I came in and I met you and I talked to you and I talked to Michael and I talked to Arlene, you guys you ate it. It was who you were. And that's why I trusted in you to be that leader, to allow me to bring my business over and to grow. And so I thank you for that. And you gave us you gave us that environment. So I'm really happy about that.
Oh my God, I'm gonna cry, people. I don't even know where to start. It's such a crazy, I think, when we planned to do this, really the first two people we thought about were you two. And the reason why is, I think, for many different reasons. Jessica, one thing about Jessica that she doesn't know that I have never told you is I used to stalk your business. What? I used to go online. I used to watch all your green videos and all the videos of everything. Because I used to ride the shark. And I said it kind of briefly at one of the sales kickoff events, you are a master at what you do. And I think that is something that, I think that you inspire people to inspire others. Yeah. That is a difference between many other females and you, and just people in general, not just females. But you inspire others to inspire other people. And I think that is very rare. You walk into a room and you command that attention. And I don't think that when people walk, and there's a lot of people, but you have this commanding energy that really starts from your authenticity. And I think that is something that not a lot of people have. So I admire you because of that. Mary, well, I love Mary. Let me just tell you about Mary. Well, I think when I met Mary, actually it's you and your partner, I think when we started the brokerage, Michael asked me, who's the one person you want here? And I said, Mary and Ken. That's all I want. That's all I care about. Yeah. I'm not saying that to judge anybody else, but at that point it was 10 people. And the reason why is because the way you do business is fair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we try.
And that is one of the biggest things. But just individually, I think that people gravitate to you because of your spirituality. Mm-hmm. and your like-mindedness, and personally, I gravitate to you because I feel like you're one of the most resilient in our industry, and I think many women should really just drink that Kool-Aid, drink this Kool-Aid. So I'm just very lucky to be around you. I feel very lucky to be around you every day. I feel really lucky.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I mean, love you too.
You're doing a great job.
That was great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I just wanted to thank you all for coming today, and it's been an honor to hear about all of your careers and your journey along the way, and I just wanted to thank you all for being a part of Oakwyn and being such pillars. And you guys are our top female agents, but you're also top people. So thank you.
Thanks.
Cheers.